Good evening and happy Monday. I'm student meteorologist Paxton Fell.
And I'm student meteorologist Moll.
Well, this past weekend's been very nice outside. It's nice and warm. It was in the 70s. Even yesterday, I was just outside the whole time, basking in the sun. You know, we could enjoy Florida winters like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, winter's not really a thing in Florida, apparently. Definitely not compared to our friends up in the Northeast.
Definitely not at all. Yeah. At most, we'll get some rain, and when it rains, it's going to be raining hard. Like throughout this whole week, it's going to just be rain the whole week, and
it's gonna be really dreary. I mean, rain moves in middle of the week and kind of sticks around for the time or for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it does, and the temperatures are going to be getting a little cooler than what they were this past weekend. But guess what? It's going to be nice and warm again going into Sunday, so another beautiful weekend here.
Yeah, at least we get a little bit of those warm temperatures back this weekend.
I know, I'm just excited, and I like the warmth. I say this all the time, you know, I don't like the cold and snow and sleet, and it's gross.
No, it's definitely one of the perks of living in Florida, that's for sure. We are the Sunshine State after all. And
we definitely are the Sunshine State, no complaints about that. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not looking forward to these next couple days of rain.
So we're going to go ahead and take it over to Daniel for the 1 minute overview.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, here's our radar right now, but as you can see from the show later on, this is going to be completely covered over the next few days, unfortunately for us. We're going to go ahead, though, and move on to our headlines. Right now, we're going to see rain tonight and tomorrow and into Wednesday. You see cloudy and wet then also. And thankfully, we're going to have a warm weekend again, much like we had this weekend. And that was a lot better than it was last weekend. It was all cold and miserable, so not a lot of fun last week. But for today, we had a high of 71, real nice outside, right about average, and low 58, so pretty typical for this time of year. It's really nice, but like I said, that rain will be coming in, unfortunately for us, so it'll be due to this front right here. It'll be coming on through. You see it's passing through Pensacola and expected to be here right around tomorrow night. And we go ahead and look at into tonight's forecast. Low 47, about 60% chance of rain, increasing cloud, rain coming. It's just going to be all miserable for the next few days, unfortunately for us. Not a whole lot of fun at all. So thankfully, wind will not be that high. And we're going to go ahead and send it back out to the desk with Brandon and Paxton. What story you guys have for us?
We actually have several stories. We have a few events from this day in weather history, and the first one's from 1802 when there was 48 inches of snow in Boston.
Yeah, and snow really was a theme for today in weather history because we also had 15 inches of snow that hit Washington, D.C. of all places. They don't see a whole lot of snow, Paxton.
No, not at all, and that was in 1987, and then 1 year later in 1988, there were strong northerly winds that brought very cold Arctic air into the central U.S., and temps were 30 degrees colder than the previous day.
Oh, wow, that's really cold.
It's super cold, and I know.
I mean, 30 degrees per day that's very, very, we don't see that very often. That's a very rare event. I mean, that's why, even without any precipitation or anything like that, I mean, that's a very significant weather history fact.
I know, I think it is. But lucky for us in Florida, we don't have to worry about that. When we're going to take it over to the wall, we could see these nice temperatures. But right now, tonight, we're not seeing any nice temperatures. Just lots of rain, 47, 60% chance of rain. So it's going to be nice and rainy out there for you guys tonight and going into tomorrow and Wednesday. Well, we're going to have some increasing clouds, rain moving in tomorrow as well. Current conditions, 67 in Tallahassee, mostly cloudy. We did drop a few degrees between now and a little while ago. We were at 69, and the dew point's at 54. So it is higher than what it has been these past few days, and we do have the humidity creeping back into our area at 63%. Currently, around the Big Bend region, 67 Tallahassee. We have some 67s in Monticello and St. Mark's as well. It's basically mild overall in this area, so it's nice for us to go outside if you don't mind the rain. I don't like the rain, so I won't be going outside. But locally on the radar, as you can see throughout the whole day, we did not have much rain in our area. All the rain occurred to south of us in the Gulf of Mexico region. But going into tonight and in tomorrow and Wednesday as well, there will be some rain creeping into our forecast. You're going to want to bring your umbrellas, your raincoats, because it will be a little bit of a washout going into Wednesday. And all that rain's associated with this cold front and up behind it, and it's going to be bringing in this moisture. And the rain is going to be lingering in this area going into tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon as well. And then this cold front, it then turns into a stationary front in southern to central Florida, coming back up into our area. Is also attached to this low pressure system out in the Gulf, bringing in all this extra rain into our area going into Wednesday. So that's where our higher rain chances will be this week. But once Wednesday passes, all this rain will be clearing out, and then you could go back outside and enjoy some nice Florida weather and Florida sun. For our futurecast temperatures, it's 55 tonight around 8. It's going to be dropping a little bit between tonight and tomorrow morning. Nothing too much, just 49, so just a 3-degree temperature change. And going into tomorrow, 48 for the high. And these temperatures, they're not increasing at all. A little bit of decrease, which starts to decrease even more going into Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And that will be the general trend going throughout this week. For tonight, it's going to be 47. Again, we have increasing clouds, the rain moving into tomorrow. 60% chance of rain, and the rain will be sticking around Wednesday as well. And then for tomorrow, it's going to be 56, mostly cloudy skies. Not too much sun out there for you guys today. It's going to be another day of 60% chance of rain. So we do have these rain chances in our area, kind of high. We weren't experiencing these rain chances these past couple of days, and all of a sudden, they are back in our area. For our 7-day, again, we have 60% Tuesday, 80% Wednesday, and then clears up again Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. When that stationary front comes back into our area, the rain chances amp up just a little bit more. But again, Sunday is going to be 74, nice and sunny. We don't have to worry about the rain anymore, but the lows are just going to be a little bit mild, Thursday being 39. But otherwise, not too shabby. But right now, we're just going to hand it on over to Josh about the Southeast.
Thanks, Paxton. And well, today you can see that Florida was definitely the jealous spot right here, because you got plenty of 70s going on today and more sunshine, especially for at least the central and southern half of the state. Panhandle, Tallahassee, clouds all day today. And we had a few showers early this morning in the western Panhandle near our area as well, but nothing too much, not much accumulation at all around Tallahassee. But that's going to change. Wednesday is going to be a completely different story. We'll get to that in just a second. Here's a 24-hour temperature change. You can see where a cold front is starting to die out. You can see right here a defined line where much colder temperatures, where temperatures are at least almost 20 degrees or higher below they were yesterday. So it's definitely much cooler, and you have plenty of snow, ice, sleet going on right here near Little Rock, Tupelo, Shreveport, plenty of stuff going on, just an absolute mess in that area right now. But nothing too much in Florida. And here's the radar. You can really see how we have plenty of clouds across North Florida, and they're starting to break up a little bit. So that's not bad. South Florida is definitely the spot with no clouds at all. Plenty of sunshine, heat, upper 70s near 80 degrees down there. Here's that snow, ice, and sleet that I was mentioning earlier. You can see plenty of rain beforehand across Montgomery, Baton Rouge. Again, so this system here is going to bring us rain tomorrow. And we're going to see a couple showers here tomorrow afternoon. They'll clear out Tuesday night. The bigger story is going to be a developing low pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to impact our area on Wednesday. Here's a closer look. Again, nothing too much going on. You saw the few showers here earlier this morning, but otherwise, not too much going on. Here's the water vapor. Again, you can see rather moist overall across the southeast. And when you see greens, that means really moist in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And I'm pretty sure that on Wednesday, we're going to see plenty of green start to show up here and move in our direction. We're going to see, I think, rainfall totals near 1 to 2 inches widespread, even some locally heavier amounts as the low pressure system develops. It's going to be absolutely wet on Wednesday. For tonight, 52 degrees, clouds are decreasing, so we'll get a little bit colder tonight. 61 in Orlando, again, much more mild down in central Florida with not too much of the cold front impacting them. 30s across much of the area to our west. For tomorrow, 66 degrees, mild. But again, this is from the model standpoint, it could be much colder tomorrow with plenty of clouds around to stick around. Again, rain is going to be the big story later on this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
So we're going to be talking about meteors. That's right, Ian. Meteors.
Yeah, exactly. Last night there were reports of fireballs across much of Florida, from all the way from Tampa to ending in Jacksonville.
Yeah, the meteor lit up the sky, and they actually said that possible fragments even impacted the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Over 186 reports were seen from this event, and the American Meteor Society confirmed this last night.
Contrary to the American Meteorological Society, the American Meteor Society confirmed that a fireball was seen. By 186 people reported this. Not a whole lot, but enough to make it real. And the idea behind this is that they figured out how low this meteor got because they were able to hear people reported sonic booms, which means it got into the lower part of the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. So very neat stuff. Yeah. And
really, this occasionally happens, and it's a really rare event that we got to see in Florida last night. But moving into the national view, we're going to be looking at the weather for tomorrow. You see temperatures are rather on the mild side for much of the country. Here in the southeast, generally it's a little on the warmer side. You see Tallahassee 66 degrees tomorrow. And as we look on into tomorrow night's forecast, we're 47 degrees. And currently it's 67 here. Excuse us for that. It's 67 in Tallahassee. It's warm in Florida, but much of the southeast, you can see a big disparity between the temperatures. You see in Tupelo, 31, 47 New Orleans, and then 67 Tallahassee. We have a cold front that's going to be moving through the southeast that is bringing frozen precipitation even into areas such as Louisiana and Texas. You can see this impressive form of precipitation there. So they are seeing really not so common for them there with that amount of precipitation, but this will be impacting the weather down in Florida come Wednesday as it continues to push down with the low associated with this. Now you can see a 24-hour temperature change. There's quite a difference. Montgomery has a 19-degree difference. You see New Orleans at 27 degrees colder than it was 24 hours ago at this point, and that is due to this cold front that's moving through. The relative humidity shows how moist it really is. You can see much of the southeast is very moist. In Shreveport, where they have that precipitation, 88, 63 in Tallahassee, 60 in Orlando. So really relatively moist conditions for much of the southeast. And that will continue on this week as we see a good amount of rain and clouds for the southeast. Tonight's forecast is 52 degrees in Tallahassee. You have 61 in Orlando, 22 in Little Rock, very cold up there. It's 26 in Shreveport. You see 38 in New Orleans. So cold temperatures for much of the southeast, and that is going to continue on into the night as you push on through till tomorrow, where temperatures aren't so bad for the southeast. You can see temperatures are 44 in Tupelo. We have 48 in New Orleans, 40 in Shreveport. So it's very cold temperatures for much of the southeast. As we look into tomorrow's night's forecast, 47 degrees in Tallahassee, 35 in Atlanta. You see 27 in Wilmington. Excuse us for this. Southeast, you're definitely knowing your forecast. It's going to be a cold night tonight, but we are going to throw things back to the desk as we begin to talk about a news story for you there. Moving on into talking about weather in the Northeast. Matt, what do you have to talk about?
Thank you, Ian. We're going to be talking about the winter storm that's pushing through the south and parts of the Rockies as well. There was actually a 25-car pileup on parts of I-4.
Oh, wow. So this was on I-4, like, just right next to Tampa and in between Orlando, right? So that's just where it happened.
Maybe not that
25 cars?
Maybe not necessarily that I-4. But
oh, there's more I-4s.
There's more I-4s in other parts of the country.
Gotta think outside Florida, right?
Exactly. And that just goes to show you that those icy roads and icy conditions are really, really dangerous out there.
Yeah, definitely. You always make sure you gotta be careful and check out for black ice. Make sure that if you do live in a spot that gets a lot of snow, that you do put chains on your tires. But around here, you don't really need to worry about that. Mm-hmm. It's just don't go driving when the road freezes over and you can't see it.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, in that 25-car pileup, there was one fatality. So that's one thing we'd like to implore is if you are in icy conditions, definitely slow down and drive safe.
That's very sad that happens. But, things like this happen when, it gets icy out. So people just need to be a little bit careful. But for right now, I think we're going to head out to around Florida with Tyler.
Thanks, guys. Taking a look at local conditions, you can see real mild today. We only sitting at 67 right now, mid-60s pretty much across the board. A little warmer, closer to the 70s along the coast, 69 in Carabel, 71 in St. Mark's. And fairly humid also. You'd see mid-50s in the dew point. That's not too big of a difference between our temperature, which is really keeping us, which is really showing the moisture that we have. Now, wind flow out of the north, that's what's responsible for this cool down from the 70s we saw this weekend. Unfortunately, those aren't going to be back for a couple of days now. And that's going to evolve to a more easterly flow as time goes on, and then those temperatures are going to rise just a little bit as a result from that. Satellite radar, nothing to see. A little bit of rain moving its way in, nothing to speak of for the time being. Now, the rain's going to pick up tomorrow, and then it's going to linger around for the next day or so as that cold front goes southward and then retreats northward slowly as a stationary front. As a result, we're going to see significant rain chances associated with it, culminating on Wednesday with that significant showers that you can see right behind me. In the more short term, though, tonight, upper 40s, pretty mild for this time of year, 47 in Tallahassee, 48 Monticello, and then even colder as you work your way into South Georgia, Thomasville, Bainbridge. Now tomorrow, topping out a little cooler than it was today. That's due to the increased cloud covers and those showers that we saw. 60% chance of rain, mid-50s across the board for us. Not too great of a beach day though. 10, 15 knots, 2 to 3 foot seas, and the water's pretty cold too. I don't recommend that at all. Now, as for this 7-day, you can see that 60% chance rain tomorrow, 80% on Wednesday, clearing out Thursday, and then the rain chances return this weekend as a system works its way into our region, and then we might be back into the 70s come this weekend, and then back to that significant warm-up that we saw this weekend. That's all I've got for you out here. Let's send it back to the desk with Matthew and Ian.
All right, thank you so much, Brandon. It's good to see sort of the sun there. At least the warmer conditions are back here, but the Arctic blast has moved out of our area and is still impacting parts of the plains.
Yeah, absolutely. Plains are seeing very frigid conditions, but there's definitely a disparity between the plains and the southeast where you have relatively mild temperatures, really.
Yeah, and it's good to see those warmer temperatures back. I know I was freezing for the last few days here,
yeah.
And many people are saying we survived the Florida winter, and I think we survived.
Yeah, I think we definitely saw this past weekend was a glimpse of what's to come with those warmer temperatures, which I'm sure I'm looking forward to, and most people are looking forward to with the ahead. And there might be even warmer temperatures into next weekend again, so great temperatures for the weekends.
Mm-hmm, that's right. The rainy conditions are going to come back, but the warmer conditions are here to stay for a little while, so muggy, rain, I guess we'll take the trade-off.
Yeah, I can handle the mugginess and mild temperatures much more than I can handle the 20s and 30s with the windy conditions. So hopefully that will continue and we'll start to move into spring and looking forward to those temperatures there.
That's right. And for now, we're going to take a look at what's going on across the rest of the Sunshine State here around Florida with Tyler.
I agree. The warm weather is so much better than what we experienced last week. It's actually pretty moist outside right now. The relative humidity right now across the state is really around 60 to 80%. That's pretty moist for this time of year. That also led to the fog this morning, which you felt and drove in if you had to drive to campus early this morning. Thankfully that burned off around 11:30 to 12 o'clock. Water vapor imagery tells the story of a moistening environment. That's why we didn't see as much sunshine today. And this moisture will actually continue to increase, which will bring rain chances to most of the state later on this week, perhaps as early as tomorrow morning around the Big Bend region. 24-hour temperature change. Can you tell where the front is? Well, right now in Tallahassee, it's 2 degrees colder than it was yesterday, but look at Pensacola, 25 degrees colder than it was yesterday. That is a significant temperature change. The front is really starting to lose steam now, and therefore it won't get quite that cold in Tallahassee and the rest of the state. However, you can expect a cool down for the rest of the week. Right now, across the state, upper 70s to around 80 down south. That's where the sunshine was. Here in North Florida, where there was less sunshine, temperatures were in the 60s and low 70s, and obviously in Pensacola, with the cold front, it's much colder there in the 40s. And up in the north of the state, there's actually a little bit of an ice storm and snowstorm in areas like Birmingham, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, and those areas are actually seeing their first snow day because it's going to go eastward into the Carolinas, like either Friendly or Willington. And tomorrow he has no school because they're going to get their first snow of the year. Zooming on into our region, we saw a little bit of rain mainly to the west of the Apalachicola River, and that's died out, but we'll definitely see some more rain on Monday night and going into especially Tuesday and especially on Wednesday. Tonight, we're going for lows quite mild for this time of year, a little bit cooler up in Pensacola, 41 there, but mainly 60s and 50s for most of the state, 52 in Tallahassee. Tomorrow, a little bit cooler day up here because it's very cloudy up here, 50s and 60s here. Down south, it might get to 80 degrees in West Palm Beach and 81 degrees in Miami. Now and for tomorrow night, let's look at tomorrow night, 45 degrees in Jacksonville, a little bit warmer down south again in the 60s. But now let's send it back to Coral. with the variant segment.
Thank you, Tyler. We're going to be talking about the winter weather that we're currently seeing in my home state of Arkansas. Granted, it's in the southern area of Arkansas and in Louisiana. It's hitting them right now. So we're going to get on into that action because they've actually seen quite a little mess today. So here you can see the temperatures, 24 in Arkansas, 26 in Dallas, and 47 in central Louisiana. And you can see right around here you're going to have that freezing line. And as I go into the satellite and radar, you're going to see where that rain changes into sleet, ice, and snow. You can see right there is that freezing line. Where that purple is, that is ice and snow. And here, definitively, where the cold air is much more definitive snow. They're seeing a lot of that today. School's been canceled. There's actually been several car accidents dealing with students at Hendrix College because they did not cancel classes today. So it's a big warning. Be safe out there. It's a struggle. The South is not used to seeing this much snow, so be careful and make sure you have plenty of time to get to where you're going if you're headed out there. Zooming in, you can see just where this area is impacting. Texarkana hitting it really hard this morning, getting lots of inches of snow today, as well as ice on the road, so they're dealing with that, and that's going to continue on in tonight. And you can see the system is moving into the Little Rock, Conway area, and of course just now hitting northwest Arkansas, but that'll clear out fairly soon, and the system will be moving on into Tennessee, where they'll be getting another 1-2 punch after that storm they saw last week. So here we are with the 24-hour temperature change. You can see -8 in Dallas. They're kind of on the back edge. They're going to be receiving a nice little high pressure. It'll give them a brief break before this. But as I step out of the way, you can see right there in New Orleans, 27-degree temperature change. That is where that cold front is coming, and it will definitely be there today. You're going to see that change as the cold front continues to pass through, and that cold air is just going to continue to be brought in. So be prepared to have the jacket for the next few days, or even a light sweater. That warm mugginess that we're feeling in Tallahassee isn't going to be there in the next few days. It's going to be dreary, cloudy, and rainy, so be prepared for that. As we move on, you can see the wind chill temperatures. Here in Denver, we have another brewing low pressure system where that will also bring winter storm warnings and watches across the plains area, so be prepared for that. And you can see wind chill temperatures, it's going to be quite cold. You're going to want that jacket, gloves, and make sure you cover your ears. Frostbite isn't a joke. You can lose appendages that way, so make sure you're covered up and stay warm as well. You don't want to be a victim of another snowstorm. And as we head into tomorrow, you can see where that cold front is. Rain / snow / mix into ice is going to be brought in. That's going to move through into our area for tomorrow. Going to bring us some sprinkles, and then Wednesday is definitely going to be a washout for us. Make sure you have your umbrella and everything prepped for that. And as we go ahead, we'll send it off back to the desk with more news.
All right, thank you so much, Coral. I'd like to introduce FSU Weather's next top model. What do we mean by that, Josh?
Of course, not the TV show. Of course,
No,
we're
not
not
that.
talking about that. But we are talking about what we use to forecast here in the studio is we use a number of computer models to help us make the right forecast, the right amount of rain each day to help you know what to do the next day. And the top models that we have are...
Well, we have the GFS, which is the American computer model that we use. We also have the European.
The European usually has been the top performer the past few years, but the GFS got an upgrade this past year, so we're hoping that is really going to help narrow down the forecast too and help them converge sooner in time than later.
Exactly, and with those models, we put in data, or the data is put into those models, and then it comes back to us as a forecast, possibly when it's going to rain, when it's going to be sunny, the current temperatures, and that's how we build the forecast based off what these models are showing.
Absolutely, and they have high resolution now. It's definitely more helpful, and we have a number of local models too that help us at least 24 hours in advance, help us get an even better picture on the local scale to help us really narrow down the forecast and where it's going to rain each day.
Absolutely, very helpful, and speaking of forecast, we're going to show it to you now, sending it out to Daniel.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, you've heard it, rain. That's what we're going to have over the next couple of days. But real quick, we'll take a look at what happened today. You see, so we had that high of 71, right about average there with like the 69, and low of 58, a lot better than what we saw of 43 as our average. Well, our current temperatures around the Big Bend, 60s is really the big story here. You see 67 really all around, only a couple places touching 70 along the coast. So that's very typical for this time of year and this time of day. So we'll go ahead, though, and jump into the radar. Step off real quick, and you can take a look at the system that's moving our way. You do see that there is rain and snow headed our way, but I'm sorry, snow people, there's not going to be any snow coming here. Just lots of rain, unfortunately, for us. satellite and radar a little bit closer in, you see this one system moved off. We have this one coming in right now through Louisiana and Mississippi. You see Louisiana's getting a little bit of snow and mix up there. And that's a good sign for them too. They never get that kind of snow or anything like that. Well, Futurecast over the next day or so, we have this front. It's going to move on through the state. We're going to have some rain hanging out on Tuesday. Not too bad. It will be sprinkling. Expect it probably all day. And as we get into Wednesday, though, we are going to get a good bit of rain as this system retrogrades around Florida, and it will continue to feed us rain. You see Futurecast come on through. A lot of rain coming. And there you go, heavy storms Wednesday late. So that if you're driving home at that point, just be prepared for heavy rain, unfortunately. Well, you do see in the water vapor imagery, nothing but moist air all around us. Not one sign of dry, but there will be a little bit from behind. So we'll look at this probably Wednesday and Thursday, and you'll see probably drier air behind this. Tonight's forecast, low 47. You do see increasing cloud cover. 60% chance of rain. That's probably going to be earlier in the morning. Not before midnight, probably around 4 or 5 a.m. We'll see some of that. You see 40s all around. Nothing big changing there. Nothing 30s. Don't worry about covering up the plants or anything like that this time. But for tomorrow's forecast, high 56. You see wet and dreary, unfortunately, 60 degrees. Wind picking up, though, 10 to 15 miles an hour. So be ready for that also along with the rain. So make sure you get a strong umbrella for tomorrow. And we go into our 7-day forecast. We're going to have 60% chance of rain tomorrow and 80 on Wednesday. So just expect rain on both those days. You see clouds hanging out into the weekend. And we will have a better weekend. You see temperatures into the 70s by Sunday and Monday, which is really nice. And you don't see any too bad lows there. You see in the 40s and dripping into the 30s on Thursday, just down to 39. So don't need to worry about anything too much there. And you do see that there's not a whole lot of chance of rain on Thursday, but there will be some chance coming back on Friday and Saturday, unfortunately for us. But for right now, we're going to send it back to the desk one more time with Matt and Josh.
Thanks, Daniel. And let's continue our segment of the next top model. And this next model we're going to name is not really a top model. It's just a model we use, the Canadian model.
Yeah, the Canadian model is just another model in our arsenal of weather forecasting tools to create the forecast that you saw today.
It's usually more helpful in the wintertime because it's based for North America. In the tropics, it really tends to overdo storms, so we really don't use it too much. But in the wintertime, we like to use as many models as we can to get the pattern down, and it really helps know where the rain is going to form sometimes.
Absolutely, and then we're going to bring it back home. Because of those models, we get the forecast that we're going to be looking at today. We see rain chances going to be possibly coming back into our area here on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it actually looks quite miserable out, in my opinion, because look at those high temperatures. They're only in the 50s.
It's absolutely Wednesday might even be colder. And again, it goes to the model thing. It depends on which model you go with. And you could really be warm in the 60s or in the 40s. And it's just downright miserable on Wednesday if it's that cold. I don't think we get severe weather, but definitely a lot of rain to deal with Wednesday.
Absolutely. And then the 70s join back in for the weekend. But we're all over social media, facebook.com/FSU Weather. Or we're also on Twitter. And you can watch us at any time on livestream.com/FSU Weather.
And well, that's going to be it for tonight, folks. This has been the Monday edition of FSU Weather with its new segment of Next Top Model. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay dry on Wednesday as well. Have the umbrellas out. I'm student meteorologist Joshua Rivas.
I'm student meteorologist Matthew Reagan.
And have a great night.
See ya.